I'm Daniel Muldoon with Muldoon Associates, and today I'm going to be telling you some steps that you need to take when your resident breaks the lease. The state of Colorado makes this interesting because if the tenant notifies you that they're breaking the lease, the burden has shifted to the landlord, and that burden is that they must seek to mitigate their damages as much as they possibly can. What does that entail? That means posting the property for rent at a market price. That means seeking new residents as quickly as you can. Going out of your way to ensure that the transition from the old tenant to the new tenant is done in a timely manner. What the courts don't want to see is the tenant gives you notice that they're going to break the lease early, and you just say, yeah, well, you've got 10 more months left on your lease, so I'm going to do nothing, and you must pay me the next 10 months of your lease while I do nothing. And the courts are not a fan of that. In the state of Colorado, the law almost promotes residents breaking their lease and notifying you, because if they do so, it shifts the burden onto the landlord to seek the tenant. If they just walk out of the home and they never tell you, then the provisions of your lease should prevail, and always check with your attorney on these things. And the provisions in your lease will explain what happens when it comes to abandonment, which is different than lease break. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, your lease should have lease break provisions in it. And as part of those provisions, it will explain to your residents, hey, if you're unable to fulfill your obligations in this lease, we need you to take these steps in order to ensure that everything goes okay. And some of those things might be, give us at least a notice of 60 days. So they're going to owe rent for a 60-day period. Maybe they have to pay some type of penalty for breaking the lease. 1 month's rent, something more, something less. That's really up to you and what you have in your lease. Or anything else that goes in there, when they must vacate by, what the property condition must be like. These various different things that should be spelled out clearly in your lease. If there's a lot of ambiguity in your lease, then there's going to be a lot of ambiguity associated with these lease breaks and move-outs. It confuses the process for everybody, generally elevates the frustration, and unfortunately things don't work all that smoothly. So we hope you take this information. Hopefully you'll never need it, right? We all want our residents to fulfill their full term, but in situations where they're unable to, these couple of pointers should help you in your next lease break. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions about this, feel free to reach out. Contact my company, Muldoon Associates, and we're happy to help you through the process. Thanks again.